Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take the sources you share, articles, research, sometimes like today, just a really unique collection of notes, and we dig in to find those valuable nuggets of knowledge just for you. So today, we're looking at this fascinating batch of news snippets. They're short, often pretty funny, actually, and presented in this really rapid-fire style. But our mission here isn't just to, enjoy the clever lines, though they are good. We really want to get past the wit to properly, unpack each point, find the core facts, maybe some surprising details, and figure out the bigger picture implications that might be hidden under the surface. Think of it as your shortcut to really getting what's going on headline by headline.
Exactly. And that's why this is so useful, I think. In today's world, with so much information flying around, being able to connect the dots, even from sources like this, it's a vital skill. We're here to help you pull out that core information, understand what it really means, and see how all these little pieces fit into the bigger global picture.
All right, let's get started then. Let's unpack these. First up, global geopolitics. Ukraine and Europe specifically. Our source leads with this great phrase about European leaders saying no to slicing up Ukraine like it's a political pizza. Quite the visual.
It really is, isn't it? And it gets right to the heart of it. The key thing here is European leaders are, well, they're focused squarely on Ukraine's security and sovereignty. That's the main point. And this lines up perfectly with what President Zelensky keeps saying, his no-land giveaways peace plan. So when the source mentions no pineapple toppings, referring to pressures from maybe Putin or Trump, it just underlines how strongly they're rejecting any concessions. It's not just talk. It feels like a very solid, unified stance, setting clear boundaries, really.
Okay. Staying in that region, there was also this drone strike in Saratov. Though, like a lot of these things, it's a bit murky. Our source just says, 1 killed, several buildings damaged. Pretty blunt.
And that immediately brings up the issue of conflicting stories in wartime, doesn't it? Russia pointed the finger at Ukraine straight away, but Ukraine denied it. Our source actually noted their humorous response, something like, what drone? Must be a big seagull with a grudge.
Yeah.
So our job here in this deep dive is just to lay out the reported facts, the damage, and the very different claims from each side. We're not taking sides, just presenting both perspectives for you.
Right. Crucial to see both angles. Okay, let's pivot from geopolitics to some big economic shifts. This one sounds pretty major. China's CATL, the battery giant, apparently halting lithium production. The source says the EV world just fainted. Dramatic.
It fainted captures the potential shockwaves, I think. I mean, the core fact is this pause in lithium mining, reportedly for 3 months. CATL is huge in the lithium-ion battery world. So a pause like that, well, it could seriously disrupt the whole global electric vehicle industry. The sources joke about your next EV arriving just in time for your midlife crisis. It sounds funny, but it highlights a real potential problem. It really makes you think about how concentrated these critical supply chains are, doesn't it? One company's decision in one place, huge global impact, pushes everyone to think about diversifying.
Definitely a vulnerability there. Okay, moving to slightly better economic news, this time from Egypt.
Right.
Reports of food prices dropping meat, fruits, veggies. That must be welcome news.
Oh, absolutely. Lower prices for essentials like food. That makes a real difference to people's daily lives, to their budgets, tangible relief. But then our source adds that joke about rent still being charged in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which, while it's lighthearted, it kind of subtly points out that even if one thing gets better, other big economic challenges like housing costs or maybe currency issues, they don't just disappear overnight. It's a good reminder that economic recovery is often patchy,
Yeah, good point. Things rarely improve evenly across the board. Now, this next one really jumped out at me. South Korea's military shrinking by 20%. Wow, that's a huge number.
It is massive, and the source is clear. It's a direct result of South Korea's very low birth rates. It's a demographic crunch playing out in national security. The source uses this unforgettable image to emphasize how serious it is, defending the country with holograms and K-pop dance battles.
Yeah.
And then BTS reporting for duty.
Right. It's funny, but it really drives home the profound impact that falling population numbers can have, not just on defense, but on everything society, the workforce. It forces a rethink, a whole different kind of challenge. Okay, let's look at regional alliances. The source flags a rare agreement. Turkey and Egypt apparently unite against Israel's Gaza plan.
Yeah, and the key insight here isn't just the agreement itself, but who is agreeing. Turkey and Egypt.
Yeah.
These are major regional players, often with differing views. For them to align on something this sensitive in Middle Eastern diplomacy, it's significant. Our source noted, kind of humorously, that this might not happen again until the next solar eclipse.
Yeah, right.
Which just highlights how unusual it is. It could signal Perhaps a bit of a shift in regional dynamics, maybe new alliances forming based on specific shared interests, somewhat independent of, say, traditional Western influence.
Hmm.
And again, just to be clear, we're reporting the alignment mentioned in the source, staying completely impartial on the conflict itself.
Understood. Okay, let's shift to global markets and consumer trends now. There's some optimism reported, markets rising on hopes of rate cuts. The source has another great description. Wall Street's happier than a banker who found $20 in last year's suit pocket. Really captures that mood, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. That sort of sudden, unexpected joy. So stocks up, futures up, that basically signals investor confidence is rising. Futures, for anyone wondering, are contracts to buy or sell later, so they show future expectations. And this confidence is mostly tied to hopes for lower interest rates. Lower rates generally make borrowing cheaper, which can boost company profits and make stocks look more attractive. Simple as that, really. But the source also throws in this very clever bit of caution, doesn't it?
It does.
Comparing the economy to that one coworker who shows up with the flu but insists they're fine.
Right. Putting on a brave face.
Exactly. It's a humorous way of reminding us that, market optimism can sometimes hide underlying issues. Don't just look at the surface.
Good advice. Always look under the hood. Okay, from Wall Street to something maybe equally intense in its own way, Peabody Mart opening its biggest store in London. I actually saw one of these stores recently. The queue was genuinely massive. People are really passionate about these things.
It's amazing, isn't it? This snippet really captures that frenzy for collectibles, especially those blind box toys where you don't know what you're getting. The source's description, it's quite something. Shoving through 300 adults fighting over a sad plastic bunny with dead eyes.
Wow.
It paints a vivid picture, doesn't it? Shows the passion or maybe the sheer absurdity of this whole collectible market, a very specific slice of modern consumer culture.
Definitely a phenomenon. All right, let's wrap up with one final point. This one involves regional tensions, whispers about Taiwan rearming its military.
And this brings us straight back to questions of regional stability, obviously, in a very critical area.
Yeah.
The source mentions China expressing diplomatic concern, but then it adds this amusing translation saying China is basically furiously building a PowerPoint titled, "How Dare You?" It's funny, yes. But it gives you this relatable peek into the kind of geopolitical posturing that goes on, the deep tensions simmering just below the surface between them. And it raises important questions about, the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific.
Okay, so looking back at everything we've unpacked today, quite a journey, wasn't it? We've gone from geopolitics and war to economic shifts, demographic bombshells, strange alliances, market moods, even collectible toy frenzies, and military buildups. It really shows how interconnected everything is, and sometimes, frankly, how kind of absurd the world can seem, all pulled from these snippets you sent us.
It really does. And I think the main takeaway here is that even news summaries that seem light or funny, they can hold really crucial insights if you dig a little deeper. Today's deep dive just underscores how important it is to separate the core facts from the commentary, however witty it might be, so you can build your own solid understanding of what's happening.
Absolutely. So as you go about your day, maybe thinking about the next batch of info you come across, here's a thought. What surprising nuggets, what unexpected connections might you find if you apply this kind of deep dive thinking to information you encounter every day, even, or perhaps especially, when it comes from the most unconventional places?